it's been long assumed, and rightfully so, that Caleb Williams will be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. However, Williams did an interview with the LA Times and said today, quote, "It is still a game-time decision whether or not he'll declare for the draft by the January 15th deadline." Said it's a big decision, a lot of things to go through. He's upset that the team fell short of his goals, and it's a game-time decision whether or not he's going to enter the NFL draft or return to USC for one more year.
Or enter to the transfer portal and go to a team with a defense.
Dude, I can't do this anymore, man. I can't. Sorry, man. Hey, Bo Nix is graduating, right? Let's go up to Coastal Oregon. It's going to be fantastic. Look, Williams has had a pretty good year. Not the year he had last year when he won the Heisman Trophy, but USC has been terrible, right? A season that began with playoff aspirations has ended with a 7-5 record, right? There's no defense. They couldn't beat anybody, and Williams is getting a lot of flack. Oh, look at him. He's celebrating with his family. He's running in. He's crying in his mom's arms after a game. It has not been a great season overall for Caleb Williams. For the first half of the season, it doesn't matter. Look at his talent. He's a transcendent player. I got to say transcendent.
Transcendental moment. Yeah.
I got caught between transcendental and transcendent. He's a transcendent player. It doesn't matter. But what have we seen the last few weeks? Williams not quite there. We've seen other great quarterbacks play well. Bo Nix has played really well. Michael Penix Jr. for the first half of the year. We've seen guys. Drake May is still up there in the conversation. Not that suddenly Caleb Williams stinks, but boy, there's a few more questions about him. Williams saying, quote, "I've never been in this situation where I'm 7-5 and there's no playoff hopes. I'm dealing with it emotionally, spiritually, and physically. It's tricky. I've had to have talks with Lincoln Riley because I haven't been through it, how to stay the same person before I was before the season or after our first or second loss," right? Now, why suddenly is it a game-time decision for Caleb Williams to go to the NFL? Why is he saying this? Don't believe for a second this is about, hey, I don't know, how am I dealing with this? I don't understand. Now, remember, this is the guy who a couple weeks ago it was, hey, when Caleb Williams gets drafted number 1, he wants an ownership stake in the team. So don't give me this whole, hey, I don't know, I'm just a kid trying to figure things out. Stop with that. Stop. When
you don't like the babe in the woods thing? Come on.
Just stop. Just stop. Don't give me this, I'm just a kid in college. No. When it's out there that you potentially want an ownership stake in a team, no, you're a pretty savvy business guy. Now, one of two things is happening, and I'll tell you which one of it most likely is, right? The first thing is, well, maybe he's not a big fan of who could be picking first in the draft. Because we've seen that before, right? We've seen Eli Manning pull the I don't want to go
power
here.
Play,
you're going to trade me, right? Peyton Manning went back to Tennessee because Bill Parcells ridiculously, stupidly, when he was the head coach of the Jets, because, Jets wouldn't guarantee Peyton that he was going to pick him number 1 overall, which, I mean, come on, man. Really? I think the biggest mistake of Parcells' career.
Nah, there's got to be more to it than that.
Right? But Peyton Manning
obviously,
was
that's the
back.
part of it, but yeah.
Yeah. But
then he came back and he beat the hell out of Northwestern in the Outback Bowl that I attended.
I'm going to take out all my frustrations on Northwestern. Oh, boy.
He and Peerless Price, let me tell you. I see it in my sleep every now and again.
So, and that was your big run. That was in the middle of your big run.
Yeah, no, they had those back-to-back years. You had the Rose Bowl, and then, I'm sorry, it was the Citrus Bowl, not the Outback Bowl.
But that's when you supposedly had the plays, right? Everybody knew the signals, right? That was that
Pat
story
Fitzgerald
that was
the Defensive Player of the Year back-to-back years.
We had the plays. So it could be he doesn't like who's going to be picking first. Now, obviously, it's 3 teams we're talking about, right? The Bears, the Cardinals, or the Patriots. Those are your teams, right? If it's the Bears, I understand, hey, I'm staying. But more than likely, it's the Bears because they have the Panthers pick, the Cardinals, or the Patriots. Okay, I could see that a little bit, but honestly, you stink if you pick first, right? Teams that stink pick first, right? Maybe a team, and it doesn't matter where you are. If a team wants to trade up to get you, they will trade up to get you. Yeah, in theory, could I see, well, I don't know who I'm going to get if I stay one more year, but I know who I'm getting this year, and I don't like who I have this year, so I'm going to roll the dice and stay one more year, and hopefully a team I want is going to pick me number 1 overall then, and I have a better year, and everything goes better, and I get to where I want to get to, and I don't get picked by a team where I don't want to go. Maybe he doesn't want to go to Chicago or Arizona, New England, whatever it is. So we've seen that before. But, again, businessman. Caleb Williams. He wants to go number one overall, right? He's like Kushlash from Jerry Maguire, right? Another hour Jerry Maguire. He'll either surf or ski, right? It's Denver or San Diego trading up to get him, right? He'll surf or ski. He wants to go number one. So the only other reason you talk about, I don't know if I'm going to come back, is if you are getting reports that maybe you're not going to be the first guy off the board, that maybe somebody else has passed you and somebody else is going to get taken number one overall, right? Because that's the only thing that would tell me, say, wait a minute, I want to go number one. I want this. This is what's going to make me go back to college. That's the more than likely, because you know how plugged in Caleb Williams is. Hey, my decision's in the middle of January. We know who's going to be picking number one by then, right? We know all this. We know, are you going to pick me? Are we going to have this conversation? If he's not been told, or he's heard through reports, hey, some of these teams, they may like somebody else at number one. If the Bears are picking number one overall, we're not going to pick you. We're going to pick somebody else because we like Justin Fields. Or it's, hey, the Cardinals, well, we have Kyler Murray. We're going to wait and see if someone wants to trade with us, but we're not going to take you number one. The Patriots would have to do a lot of losing it up there. Is Belichick going to take you? Who's going to be the head coach there? We don't know what we're going to be. We can't really tell you who we're going to do if we have what we're going to do if we have the number one overall pick. If you have been told and you get that inkling that maybe you're not that guy because either we have institutional problems that we have to solve or we may like another guy ahead of you, that's what tells me Caleb Williams is saying, hey, it's a game-time decision for me to return to the NFL. Because the guy knows where he is. The guy knows they've been talking. Whatever back channels is happening, he knows. If I see a story right now and he's saying, I don't know if I'm going to go, that's my number one. Not the team I don't like, because I can always force a power play. If I find out who's got the number one pick, hey, Arizona, I don't want to go there. You better trade this pick. I'm not going to sign with you. Somebody else will give you a lot to come get me, and that's where I'm going to go. He could always do that. If there's one thing I would tell you, I would put my money on, he's got some kind of inkling that maybe he doesn't go number one overall because of how this season has gone, and just the impact and the opinion of him has changed a little bit.
Well, this would perhaps be his Bo Callahan preemptive moment of storming out of the draft. There you go, leaving no draft-related movie untouched here on Fox Sports Radio. But look, that would concern me again, going back to, in terms of his style of play and what he is as an athlete. I don't think there's any question about how good he potentially is. As you alluded to, some of the questions about his emotional maturity and how he's handled things, the fact that he's sat on the bench on multiple occasions and sulking. And unfortunately, the camera catches you because you're the number one star in the game, right? Yeah, Deion and Colorado had that fun month. But otherwise, it's all been about Caleb Williams. His great stats, and then once the losses started to mount, it became, well, how's Caleb handling this? Caleb's not meeting with the media. Caleb's talking about going home and absorbing the loss by hugging his dog. His sitting in the stands with his mom. All of those things. This would just add another piece to it, right? This would be the cherry on top. And look, everybody handles things emotionally different. I get it. Different era, different athlete, whatever. From a straight business pragmatism, it's foolhardy to think about going back. Look, I know you're going to make a bunch of money off NIL, whatever his estimated earnings are, whatever he's getting from the trading card companies to sign his name and promotional appearances and whatever else. You're still looking at Bryce Young. What did he pocket? Like $37 million for his 4 years? Yeah, it was like 36 and change. So we round up to 37 because we like to say 37.